The Book of Proverbs, Mishley, Chapter 17. Better is a dry piece of bread, and rest with it, than a house filled with the offerings of strife. A wise servant rules over a son who causes shame, and shares an inheritance among the brothers. A refining pot is for silver, and a furnace for gold, but Yahuwah tries the hearts. An evildoer gives heed to wicked lips, a liar gives ear to a tongue of desire. He who mocks the poor reproaches his Maker. He who rejoices at calamity does not go unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the adornment of children is their fathers. Excellent speech is not fitting for a fool, much less lying lips for a noble. A present is a stone of favor in the eyes of its owner. Wherever he turns, he prospers. He who covers a transgression seeks love, but he who repeats a matter separates intimate friends. Reproof enters deeper into a wise man than 100 blows on a fool. An evil one seeks only rebellion, so a cruel messenger is sent against him. Let a bereaved bear meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. Whoever rewards evil for good, evil does not leave his house. The beginning of strife is like releasing water. Therefore stop fighting before it breaks out. He who declares the wicked right, and he who condemns the righteous, both of them are an abomination to Yahuwah. Why is this, a price in the hand of a fool to buy wisdom, when there is no heart? A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A man lacking heart shakes hands in a pledge. He becomes a guarantor for his friend. He who loves transgression loves strife. He who exalts his door seeks destruction. He who has a crooked heart finds no good, and he who has a perverse tongue falls into evil. He who brings forth a fool has sorrow for it, and the father of a fool has no joy. A rejoicing heart causes good healing, but a stricken ruach dries the bones. One who is wicked accepts a bribe behind the back, to pervert the paths of right ruling. Wisdom is before the face of the understanding one, but the eyes of a fool are on the ends of the earth. A foolish son is a grief to his father, and a bitterness to her who bore him. It is also not good to punish the righteous one, to smite noble ones for straightness. He who has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is cool of ruach. Even a fool keeping silence is regarded as wise, as understanding when he closes his lips. Chapter 18. The separatist seeks self-desire. He breaks out against all sound wisdom. A fool does not delight in understanding, but in uncovering his own heart. When a wicked one comes, scorn comes too, and with shame, reproach. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters, and the fountain of wisdom is a flowing stream. It is not good to show partiality to the wicked, or to turn aside the righteous in right ruling. A fool's lips enter into strife, and his mouth calls for blows. A fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his life. The words of a slanderer are like delicacies, and they go down into the inner parts of the heart. Also, he who is slack in his work is a brother of a master destroyer. The name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his own imagination. Before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before esteem is humility. He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him. The ruach of a man sustains him in sickness, but who can bear a broken ruach? The heart of the understanding one gets knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him, and brings him before great men. The first to state his own case is right, until another comes and examines him. The lot settles disputes and separates between the mighty. A brother transgressed against is a strong city, and contentions are like the bars of a citadel. A man's stomach is satisfied from the fruit of his mouth. He is satisfied by the increase of his lips. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those loving it eat its fruit. He who has found a wife has found good, and receives favor from Yahuwah. The poor speaks beseechingly, but the rich answers fiercely. A man of friends might come to ruin, but there is a loving one who sticks closer than a brother. Chapter 19. Better is the poor walking in his integrity than one of perverse lips who is a fool. Also, desire without knowledge is not good, and he who hurries with his feet sins. The foolishness of a man perverts his way, and his heart is wroth against Yahuwah. Wealth adds many friends, but the poor separated from his friend. A false witness does not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies does not escape. Many entreat the favor of the noble, and all are friends to him who gives gifts. All the brothers of the poor shall hate him. How much more shall his friends go far from him? He pursues promises, they are gone. He who gets heart loves his own life. He who guards understanding finds good. A false witness does not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies perishes. Luxury is not fitting for a fool, much less for a servant to rule over princes. A man's discretion makes him patient, and his adorning is to pass over a transgression. The sovereign's wrath is like the roaring of a lion, but his delight is like dew on the grass. A foolish son is a calamity to his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dripping. Houses and riches are the inheritance from fathers, but an understanding wife is from Yahuwah. Laziness makes one fall into a deep sleep, and an idle being suffers hunger. He who guards the command guards his high. He who despises his ways dies. He who shows favor to the poor lends to Yahuwah, and he repays his deed. Discipline your son because there is expectation, but do not apply your being to his destruction. One of great wrath bears punishment, for if you rescue, you only have to do it again. Listen to counsel and accept discipline, so that you are wise in your latter end. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the counsel of Yahuwah that stands. What is desirable in a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. The reverence of Yahuwah leads to high, and he remains satisfied. He is not visited by evil. A lazy one buries his hand in a dish, and does not bring it back to his mouth. Beat a scoffer, and the simple is made wise, and reprove one who has understanding. And he discerns knowledge. He who plunders a father chases away his mother, is a son causing shame and bringing reproach. Cease, my son, to hear discipline. You will stray from the words of knowledge. A witness of Belial scorns right ruling, and the mouth of the wicked devours wickedness. Judgments are in store for scoffers, and beatings for the backs of fools. Chapter 20. Wine is a scoffer, strong drink a brawler, and whoever is led astray by it is not wise. The dread of a sovereign is like the roaring of a lion. Whoever provokes him sins against his own life. For a man to cease from strife is esteem, but every fool bursts out. The lazy one does not plow after the autumn. At harvest time he inquires, There is none. Counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding draws it up. Most men proclaim each his own kindness, but who finds a trustworthy man? The righteous man walks in his integrity. His children are Baruch after him. A sovereign who sits on the throne of judgment is scattering all evil with his eyes. Who says, I have cleansed my heart, I am purged of my sin? Differing weights and differing measures, both of them are an abomination to Yahuwah. Even a child is known by his deeds, whether his work is clear and right. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, Yahuwah has made both of them. Do not love sleep, lest you become poor. Open your eyes, be satisfied with bread. Evil, evil, cries the buyer, but when he has gone his way, then he boasts. There is gold and a multitude of rubies, but the lips of knowledge are a precious vessel. Take the garment of one who is guarantor for a stranger, and hold it as a pledge when it is for foreigners. Bread gained by deceit might be sweet to a man, but afterward his mouth is filled with gravel. By counsel plans are established, and by wise guidance wage a battle. He who goes about as a slanderer reveals secrets, therefore do not associate with him. Who speaks smoothly with his lips. Whoever curses his father or his mother, his lamp is put out in deep darkness. An inheritance obtained with greed at the beginning is not Baruch at the end. Do not say, I repay evil. Wait for Yahuwah, and he saves you. Differing weights are an abomination to Yahuwah, and a false scale is not good. The steps of a man are from Yahuwah. What does a man know about his own way? It is a snare for a man to say rashly, it is Kodesh, and only later to reconsider his vows. A wise sovereign winnows out the wicked, and turns the wheel over them. The ruach of a man is the lamp of Yahuwah, searching all his inmost parts. Kindness and truth watch over the sovereign, and he shall support his throne by kindness. The comeliness of young men is their strength, and the splendor of old men is their gray hair. The blows that wound cleanse away evil, and strokes the inner parts of the heart. Chapter 21. The sovereign's heart is as channels of water. In the hand of Yahuwah he turns it wherever he wants. All a man's ways are right in his own eyes, but Yahuwah weighs the hearts. To do righteousness and right ruling is more acceptable to Yahuwah than a slaughtering. A haughty look, a proud heart, the lamp of the wicked are sin. The plans of the hard worker lead only to plenty, but all rash haste only to poverty. Gaining treasures by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor, heading for death. The spoil of the wicked catches them because they refuse to do right ruling. The way of a guilty man is perverse, but as for the innocent, his work is right. It is better to dwell in a corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. The desire of the wicked is applied to evil. His neighbor finds no favor in his eyes. When the scoffer is punished, the simple is made wise. But when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. The righteous one wisely considers the house of the wicked. He overthrows the wicked for their evil. Whoever shuts his ears to the cry of the poor, let him also cry and not be heard. A gift in secret subdues displeasure, and a bribe in the bosom, strong wrath. To do right ruling is joy to the righteous, but ruin to the workers of wickedness. A man who strays from the way of understanding rests in the assembly of the dead. He who loves pleasure is a poor man. He who loves wine and oil does not become rich. The wicked is a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous for the straight. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and wroth woman. Desirable treasure and oil are in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man swallows it up. He who pursues righteousness and kindness finds righteousness and esteem. A wise one scales the city of the mighty and brings down the trusted stronghold. Whoever guards his mouth and tongue guards his life from distresses. Proud, haughty, scoffer is his name. He acts with arrogant pride. The desire of the lazy man slays him, for his hands refuse to work. He covets greedily all day long, but the righteous gives and does not withhold. The slaughtering of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with wickedness? A false witness perishes, but the man who obeys speaks forever. A wicked man hardens his face, but as for the straight, he establishes his way. There is no wisdom or understanding or counsel against Yahuwah. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but the Yeshua is of Yahuwah.